Hello and welcome back to Quartzline. Quartzline, if you don't know, we're a very small YouTube channel looking at car brochures around the world. So if you're into that sort of stuff, hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to look at the Renault Alpine, or as it was more commonly known, the Renault GTA in the UK. So we'll run the credits and we'll have a look at this brochure. So the Renault Alpine GTA. It was produced by the now Renault-owned French manufacturer Alpine between 1984 and 1995. It was there to replace the very slow-selling Alpine A310. And this particular model was the first car manufactured by Alpine since it was owned by Renault. It was a rear engine design using polyester plastics and fiberglass to produce a very slippery shape. The brochure itself is from 1987 and is from the UK, and it's a real high quality brochure using really good quality cardstock. So we'll look at this brochure now and see what we can see. So here we have the first look at the brochure. It starts off with a fold out type design, folding out twice to produce some really nice images of this particular Alpine. Two models, the standard V6 and the V6 Turbo. Interestingly enough, the standard V6 was actually a slipperier shape than the Turbo, having a lower coefficient, which we'll have a look at later, mainly due to the wheel size, larger tyres on the Turbo version, and a few extra little air intakes. But the standard model was a much slipperier shape. But anyway, let's turn the page back and we'll have a look at this in a bit more detail. So briefly having a look at the text first. On the left hand side it's talking about both models, the GTA V6 and the GTA V6 Turbo. And it says here, enter a whole new world of driving pleasure. Discover the sensuous, exotic experience of driving the GTA V6 and GTA V6 Turbo. The totally new and stunning high-performance cars by Alpine, the specialist car division of Renault. Now I mentioned the Renault GTA V6 first, saying a well-balanced, refined sports car with a 2.8 litre V6 engine developing 160 brake horsepower. The Renault GTA V6 is capable of 146 miles per hour, an outstanding performance coupled with effortless acceleration, superb balanced handling and a high degree of comfort. Drive the GTA V6 and you'll immediately feel in control. You drive in safety and total peace of mind with a CD figure of only 0.28. Like I mentioned, that standard GTA V6 was a much slipperier shape. 0.28 is an extremely low coefficient and certainly one of the lowest at the time. The smooth 5-speed manual gearbox mated to a powerful V6 engine gives the driver ample reserves and flexibility for effortless overtaking and high-speed cruising. Then it talks about the turbo version, a high-performance car for the enthusiast with a turbocharged 2.5 litre engine developing 200 brake horsepower and a top speed of 155 miles per hour. The years of experience gained by Renault in the development of turbo technology has been used to the full in the design of this outstanding sports car. The Renault GTAs are a new force to be reckoned with in high-performance sports car category. Now on the right of the page it's talking about the beauty and efficiency. The Renault GTAs are styled not only to be beautiful but also efficient, and it starts talking about that coefficient of 0.28 again, although it doesn't mention the coefficient of the turbo version here. And as we turn the page, we start looking at the base model first. Although it seems a bit weird calling it the base model, it's just, the standard V6 model is probably the better way to describe it. 160 brake horsepower, 146 mile an hour. The text is really just going over the same information what it told us before about that coefficient being 0.28. A beautiful design car, like I say, being a very low slung bonnet with having the engine at the back, made a really sleek design, and different materials for the body panels made this very slippery shape with sort of very modern bumpers that are kind of integrated into the bodywork. A really beautiful design overall, I think. We'll turn the page again, and it's the V6 version time. Like I said, beautiful pictures, aren't they, in this brochure? I think they really are very nice. Showing here the Renault GTA V6 Turbo, 200 brake horsepower like we've looked at before, and 155 miles per hour. Doesn't mention that the coefficient is less on this one. I think it was around about 0.30, but it's not telling us here. I guess they don't want to see this being a lesser version because it's, this is your top version. Early days for turbos there, so huge turbo lag, as you can imagine. We'll turn the page over once again, and we can have a look at that interior and these very, very unusual seats. The text here, like it says, long distance comfort. A comfortable seat is a vital ingredient for a sports car that is capable and effortless long distance cruising like the Renault GTA. The seats have been carefully designed to ensure a relaxed posture on journeys whilst also giving firm lateral support when cornering at high speeds. The interior is spacious, yet all instruments and controls are easy to hand, allowing the driver to focus on driving without losing concentration and allowing the passengers to relax on such a trip. Very, very comfortable seats they look, and really in that French manner of producing a very comfortable seat, and in this case a very unusual looking seats as well. Very sort of 80s looking interior, and you can imagine being a French car, not the best quality plastics, but in a way that all adds to the enjoyment of being sort of like a niche car. This was kind of like a bit of a rival for things like the Porsche 944, but of course a much lighter bodywork, so making it a much more, well, in my opinion, quicker car. I don't have the figures of the 944, but it is a lighter vehicle, so it makes sense that it would be a quicker vehicle than a 944. Move on to the next page, and we're looking at that front dashboard in better detail. Like I said, a very 80s dashboard, even with the red gauges. It certainly looks very, very 80s. And you got things like this sort of stereo with the amplifier, a very Renault unit. You probably find this in, an Espace at the same time. Steering wheel got the Alpine logo on there rather than a Renault logo, as we would expect, and it says, sit behind the wheel of the Renault GTA. Cast your eye over the layout of the instruments and controls. All the controls are in the logical place and within easy reach of the driver's hand, with instruments laid out to be in the driver's field of vision at all times. Once you are behind the wheel, you'll feel in complete control and at ease, with the seat supporting your back and shoulders and pedals and gear lever positioned for natural movement and a clear view of the instruments. Everything is designed to save the driver's energy and make high-speed motoring even safer and more satisfying. Finally, we get to have a proper look at them very, very unusual seats with this headrest integrated into the design of the seats, and it says wide variety of seat adjustments for ultimate comfort. And we've got these little cubby boxes running in between the two seats, making a very unusual design. And we'll look at the back seats, and that does actually carry on through to the back. To drive a Renault GTA is a whole new experience where all the practicalities of motoring are taken care of. There are wide opening doors and an electrically assisted release mechanism, giving easy access to the vehicle. The front windows and external rear view door mirrors are electrically controlled, and there is an infrared remote control central door locking system. A spacious locking glove compartment is situated under the dashboard for extra storage space, with pockets in each door, plus extra lidded compartments in the transmission tunnel for storing items securely and unseen. And like I say, as we'll see, that them little door buckets carry on to the back. The transmission tunnel's there anyway, and they've kind of like tried to make the best use of it, I guess. Similar sort of idea at the back. Like this transmission tunnel is huge, so there isn't room for that third passenger, and even the rear passengers are really not very practical for anything bigger than a child, as is often the case on this type of vehicle. It shows a roof console, integrated map reading lights, individual folding rear seats. They fold down. It's showing you can put golf clubs when you fold it down, making it flat over the transmission tunnel, I guess. I guess the rear seat space is more a place to put things, because there really isn't a boot as such. Rear engined, there's a little bit of space at the front there, but not very practical. So this is more of a better place to put your shopping, etc., if that's what you're using the vehicle for. And like I say, showing you putting the golf clubs at the back there. Rather pointless sort of folding seats, really. They don't make a great deal of sense, although I guess it's providing, like I say, a flat floor space over that transmission tunnel. The GTA, unlike most high-performance coupes, has two rear seats, which comfortably accommodate two children or even two adults on short journeys. It would have to be very small adults, to be honest. The two individual rear seats also have built-in head restraints for utmost comfort and safety. For extra practicality and convenience, these rear seats can be individually folded forward to provide additional carrying capacity for such bulky items as golf clubs, squash rackets, etc., to ensure that everyone enjoys the full pleasure of the integral Philips 4x20 watt per channel hi-fi system. Great care has gone into carefully positioning of six speakers, complemented by the skillful use of soundproofing materials. And that's really where it kind of like ends for the different models and interior shots, really, because then it goes on to start talking about the low coefficient. Always talks about the V6. It never talks about the turbo, because that hasn't got quite as good a coefficient. Like it says at the bottom, 0.28 is the V6. The turbo, I think, was around about 0.30, although it never really mentions it in the brochure. We then go on to power to spur, talk about the engine and this difference between the V6 turbo and the V6 with the power bands, the handling of the vehicle, the materials used, like I say, this layered polyester it starts talking about, and fiberglass, making a very lightweight car like we've talked about. And it talks about the fascination of the car. This is really just painting and her final checks, quality control checks. You would never get all this information on a newer brochure. It's just the times, they really went into a lot of detail. And then finally we get into the technical specifications and the colours and trim, so I'll have a closer look at that. And then, like I said, the final page, I often think this in many ways is the most interesting of the pages on a lot of these brochures. Technical specification first. Generally, it's a two-door, 2+2 coupe, inline mounted, rear engine, rear wheel drive. Talks about the construction, this laminated polyester body shell, steel backbone chassis, and the engine. The V6 using a 2849cc and the V6 turbos a 2458cc. Different fuel systems, the cooling system, the transmission, the gearbox, showing the different gear ratios between the V6 and the V6 turbo, the suspension geometry, braking, steering, wheels and tyres, electrical equipment, capacitors. Very interesting fuel consumption figures, with them making this very lightweight body and extremely good coefficient, of course, we shouldn't forget about that. The fuel economy for what it is extremely good. So a constant 56 miles per hour, or which is 90 kilometers per hour, 40.7 miles per gallon is incredible for the V6. Even the turbo even better, 44.1 miles per gallon. Of course, it drops off hugely around the urban cycle, but it just shows, drive this thing sensibly. Your fuel consumption is almost as good as a Super Mini at the time. It's very, very good. Performance, 0 to 60 of the V6, 8 seconds. The turbo, 7 seconds. Oh, I do apologise. That was 0 to 62. The 0 to 60 is 5.8 on the turbo. 0.62, 8 seconds on the V6, 7 seconds on the V6 turbo. Even shows the options. The options were the super gloss metallic or pearl white paint. And you could also option it to have anti-braking system during 1988. You could have leather upholstery as an option. And the V6 turbo wheels and tyres on the V6. So you could have, so basically what it's saying, that you can have the turbo wheels on the V6. Probably wasn't so good, because I think that was a lot of the reason those bigger wheels didn't give you that coefficient, I guess. You could also have air conditioning, which is a dealer option. Does show the colour choices as well. Super gloss red. I know there was a car in my town in super gloss red. It was the only one I've ever seen, really, and he lived just round the corner. I used to always pass it, drive my little 2CV, but it was in super gloss red. You could have super gloss black, super gloss metallic silver grey, super gloss pearl white, super gloss metallic titan red, and super gloss metallic stratus blue. It says here it has not a true representation of the actual colour for whatever reason. Probably they couldn't reproduce it. And then the interiors, you could have a grey velour, black velour, although if you option for leather, you could have sand leather or black leather. And then of course at the bottom, the little Renault symbol, production date 7/87 for the 1988 model year. So there we go, the Renault Alpine GTA, or Renault GTA. GTA, incidentally, just standing for Gran Turismo Alpine, if you didn't know. So a car with very low drag coefficient, at 0.28 on the standard V6 model. And a car not really sold in huge numbers. So a very rare car today, but certainly a very interesting one. And these little French sports cars, I always think are extremely interesting vehicles. In some ways not the best built, but all the more interesting and unusual when you compare them to the German rivals. Thank you so much for watching Quartzlight once again today. There will be many more episodes in the near future, so please do like and subscribe. So for now, take care and goodbye.